He has spoken on the topics faith, family and freedom in Cuba, Belgium, Brazil, Congo, UK and all over the USA to crowds from 14 to 40,000. International leadership speaker, trainer and coach. Author of Learn to Raw Leadership, Attitude Hack, Live a More Excellent Life, 5 Battle Strategies of a Victorious Warrior. 2021 President's Lifetime Achievement Award recipient. Founding partner of the John Maxwell team. Toastmaster International Speech Competition semi-finalist. Founder of Tell It Like It Is TV, ThatGuyRocks.com and ThatGuySpeaks.com. Creator of Story Power TV, Transforming Grace TV, and Leading Leaders Podcast. Producer of 4 TV programs and podcasts for Liftable TV and World Trumpet Television as well as multiple social media channels. Please help me welcome J Loren Norris.
It's pretty amazing when you begin to succeed, whatever the level of success is. Maybe you've become a millionaire, maybe you published your first book, maybe you've just got your business off the ground and you're beginning to reach that 3-year mark where most businesses either live or they die. Whatever that measure of success is, as you reach that measure of success, there are those around you who are lazy, and there are those around you who are unscrupulous. And both of those groups of people now see you with a giant target on your back. It's just a reality, a fact of leadership. And that's what I want to talk about in this episode of Leading Leaders. Subscribe now for our extensive video library of leadership lessons promoting faith, family, and freedom. I'm J Loren Norris with Leading Leaders Podcast, and there's a whole lot of evidence throughout human history that those who have found themselves successful have also found themselves the target of those who would say, I want the same success. I should have had the same results. I should have accomplished what you've accomplished. Now, I'm not going to be unscrupulous or dishonest myself to say that some don't start off with an advantage. Obviously, many do. It's the family name. It's the relationships. I remember just yesterday watching an interview with Adam Sandler. And somebody asked him, what was the turning point? I think it was Howard Stern that asked him, what was the turning point when you realized you made it? When you became big, when you became famous, when you got there, when you arrived? And Adam kind of giggled and he laughed back and he said, I was famous by the time I was 19. Famous by the time I was 19. Do you know how many people are 29, 39, 49, 59 years old and can't handle fame yet? They're not mature enough yet. They don't know what to do with the money, with the recognition, with the name ID, with walking into public places and everybody knowing who they are. There are those who seek that out. They live their lives to become famous, TikTok famous, Insta famous. They want everybody to know who they are. They want everybody to know their name. Not because they've done something spectacular, but because they will do anything for everybody to know their name. When you stop and think about that for a minute, you realize there are a whole lot of people who are unscrupulous enough that it doesn't matter what they do so long as they become famous. You might think of the number of lawsuits against celebrities and wealthy people, whether they be politicians or business owners or genuine Hollywood movie stars. They're sued on a regular basis. They probably spend as much money on lawsuits, defamation of character, slander, minor assaults, as they do anything else they spend money on. Maybe Hollywood contracts are a little more expensive, but the amount of time they spend defending themselves against those who can't find their way into the spotlight for their own accomplishments, their own achievements, their own successes. Instead, they want to pursue those who already have, and like barnacles on a ship, like leeches on a dog in the river, they want to suck the blood out of those who have already survived, those who've already put in the time, put in the hours. I like to think that I would have been a great football player had I stayed at it through college and into the pros. I like to think that. I like to think that, I'm the same size, if you will, as Emmett Smith or any one of those, Tiki Barber, any one of those guys. We're about the same size, height, and weight. And if I had just, practiced running a little more, that I would have been just as good as them. I also understand there's some reality there that sets in, and following that train of thought, I'm just a little bit delusional. I don't have the athleticism. I could have worked 10 times harder than I did and still not quite made it. I understand John Maxwell's illustration when he says, whatever it is that you're good at, if you push as hard as you can, if you apply yourself to the right number of hours, if you study, if you practice, if you put in the blood, sweat, and tears, if you do everything you can to get better at that thing, chances are you move the needle 2 points. So if right now you're a 2 or a 3, push hard, push as hard as you can, make the sacrifices, get up in the morning and run hard, go to the gym, do everything you can, you're going to be a 4. Yeah, that's hard to hear. If you're a 4 or a 5, you push as hard as you can. You get up every morning, you study the books, you go to class, you never miss a single class, you study the extra stuff. You work the part-time job, you pay off your student loans early, you graduate early, you get all your degrees early. You do everything you can in your wheelhouse. And if you're a 4, you might be a 6 or a 7, and now you're just above average. Because you're pushing hard in the wrong direction. And unfortunately, there are those who will live their lives right there. They will push really, really hard at something that they're just naturally skilled at, maybe average. And they will push as hard as they can, and because of that hard push, because of that effort, because of that work ethic, they will find themselves to be just above average. And they will spend a lot of their time resenting those who were naturally above average at the same thing. There's a TV sitcom called Suits, and it's about a bunch of attorneys in an office. And in the interview process, one young man comes in and he says, well, we can't hire you, young man, because we only hire those who went to Harvard Law, and you haven't even been to law school. He said, no, but I'm an exceptional learner, and I've already passed the bar. And he said, I don't even know how that would be possible. And so he started reading to the young man out of a law book, and the young man finished his phrase, and he's like, how could you know that? He said, I told you, I'm an exceptional learner, and I've already passed the bar. See, there are a lot of people who would look at him and go, there's no way you can accomplish what I have accomplished after all the effort that I've put in. But he's a natural. He's working in his skill set. He's working in his natural gifting. I'm going to tell you something. As a leader, every time you succeed, there will be people who place a target on your back because they're jealous. They're lazy. They don't want to do the work. They just want to get the results. They're unscrupulous. Maybe they've already done all the work, and they cannot, for the life of them, understand how you could be equal to them or worse off, better than them after all the hard work that they've done. See, this creates a whole lot of resentment. When you've put in the hours, when you've worked as hard as anybody could possibly imagine working to accomplish something, and you find that in all that effort, you're still just above average, you get really frustrated with those people who seem to be nailing it with no effort at all. If you have produced 5 million pieces of content for social media and nobody has paid attention at all, if you have watch someone in this meteoric rise, they put out their first 5 videos and everybody's like, oh my gosh, they're like the new sensation of the world. And you're thinking, look at all the effort that I've done, and I got nothing by comparison. Well, there's your problem. Those 2 words right there. By comparison. When you reach the point in your life that you realize you are your only competition, everything changes. When you realize that all you've got to do to be better than is to be better than you were yesterday. Be a better human. Be a better person. Be more gracious. Be more graceful. Be more accepting. Be more loving. Working hard will drive you a long way. Working hard in conjunction with the talents that you have will push you even further. See, John Maxwell's analogy goes a little further. He says if you're a 2 or a 3 and you push as hard as you can, you might become a 5. You're still below average. If you're a 4 or a 5, maybe even a 6, and you push as hard as you can, now you're a 5, 6, or a 7. And you're average, we're just above average. But if you start off with that thing, that skill set, that gift, that naturally born you, maybe not even the thing that you mentally think you're passionate about, or the thing that you look at and go, I wish I could make $1 million at this or $1 billion at that. Not that thing, but the thing that you're made for. If you can put your finger on the thing that you're made for and give that everything that you've got, now you don't go from a 4, 5, or a 6 to a 6, 8, or 9. You go from a 9 or a 10 to an 11 or a 12. Suddenly you become the Michael Jordan of that thing. You become the next global sensation because you put your effort in conjunction with, working synergistically with, what you were made for. When you put those two things together, you're going to find success. You're going to find an overwhelming ability to do what you've set out to do in a way that nobody else can do it. Let me tell you what else you're going to find. You're going to find a whole lot of people who are not naturally made to do what you're naturally made to do. And they have worked their tails off exhaustedly. They are frustrated. They are irritated. They are tired. They've invested all their money and all their time and all their effort, and they have worked really, really hard to do what you do naturally. And the first thing you're going to earn is a little bit of success and notoriety, and the next thing you're going to earn is a target. That target is going to be on your back. It's going to be on your forehead. It's going to be on your profiles. It's going to be on every piece of business that you do, every relationship that you build. Somebody who's a little jealous, somebody who's a little frustrated that they worked harder than you and they deserve this. Or they didn't work at all. They're the unscrupulous. They didn't work at all, but they want what you have. And they will take it through lawsuits. They will take it through silly, silly behavior. They will take it through mocking you, through ridiculing you, through bad-mouthing you, because that's the kind of people they are. Now, let me encourage you. When you find yourself in that place where you've become the target of the unscrupulous or the lazy, those who don't want to do the work, they just want your fame, those who don't care how much they destroy, as long as they either get theirs or keep you from getting yours. When you find yourself in that place, take courage. It's an education for you. It's an opportunity for you to realize you've done well. It's also a test for you. It's a test for you as the leader, as the influencer, as the success, to become a mentor, to be the kind of person who has the kind of grace for the kind of fool who wants to destroy you, to stand your ground, to walk your path, to lead your life, to do your thing, to do what you are here to do and not be distracted by the silliness of everybody else. The longer you can do that, the better you can do that, the more successful you will become, and the more you will invest in others who want the same success. They're willing to do the work. They're willing to pay the price. But you can think back to that 5 people you hang around with phrase. You'll become like the 5 people that you hang around with. You'll become the average of the 5 people you hang around with. If the people you hang around with are the ones who have a target on your back and they are jealous of your success and they really only want to bring you down because they want you to be at the same level as them, miserable and unsuccessful. Misery loves company. They would love for you to be just as miserable as they are, judging everybody else who has succeeded and whining and crying about it. They don't really want to change anything. They just want a different outcome. You can also realize that just like the crabs in a barrel, the crab that's trying to get out of the barrel, all the other crabs will drag him and pull him back down. Let me ask you, what do you think is the psychology of the crabs at the bottom of the barrel? Are they terrified that if this crab gets free, that he's going to get destroyed or eaten? Are they concerned for his well-being and his safety? Or are they simply jealous of the potential of his freedom? They don't want that crab to experience the joy of not being in the bottom of that barrel. by golly, if we have to be in this bottom of this barrel, everybody has to be in the bottom of this barrel. You are not special enough to not be in the bottom of this barrel. See, there are a whole lot of people who live their life with that mentality. They don't care what you've done to succeed, how hard you've worked, what natural gifts and talents you have, what investments you've made. They don't care about those things. I would love to be as good as Emmitt Smith at football, but I didn't start when I was in elementary and middle school with the drills and the exercises and the speed drills and the agility drills. I didn't push it all through high school at 110% to become one of the best. I didn't go to college to play as a number one runner or receiver. I didn't do those things. So for me to expect to have the same results that he has or others have, well, that's just silly. But every day, there are people who do. You probably, maybe some of you remember Tanya Harding. If you don't know that name, just look it up. Back in the late 80s, early 90s, there was a skating competition. There were two girls who were really, really, really good. And they were competing to enter the Olympics and competing at some really high levels. They were world famous. And one of them got jealous of the other's success and broke her legs to prevent her from ever ice skating again. Something in the back of her mind said, if I can simply eliminate the competition, then I will find success. She's not the only one who thinks that way. She's not the only one with the lack of scruples or moral founding to say, I will strive harder to become a greater success rather than let someone else's success slow me down. No, she was focused on her competition, not on herself. She was focused on her other potential outside of herself, not her own potential. She was focused on destroying those who might keep her from reaching the top, like the crab in the bottom of the barrel. I don't care who wins, as long as it's me. If you're a leader with that kind of attitude, you need to check yourself. You need to step back for a minute and say, I'm going to do everything in my power to maximize my talents, my gifts, my opportunities. I'm going to do everything in my power to know that I've given 110% of my effort toward what I'm the greatest in my world at doing. I don't want to push to be above average. I don't want to push to be below average. I want to push to be the best in the world. I'm going to find out what it is that I can be the best in the world at, and I'm going to give that 110%. And everybody else in the field doing the same thing, working just as hard as I am, I will applaud them. I will congratulate them. I will encourage them. I will push them on. Because in the end, this is not a competition against other people who want to be the greatest in the world. This is a competition against me. If I can be a better me than I was yesterday, I win. If I can be a better father, a better husband, a better leader, a better speaker, a better teacher, a better trainer, a better mentor, a better friend than I was yesterday, then I win. And it's not a competition against anybody else. It's only against me. When you can adopt a mindset that says, I will work hard and I will succeed because the only thing I'm competing against is me yesterday, you will find that your success begins to outstrip everything else you've ever done. Find out what you're the best in the world at, what you're naturally bent to, where your passions are. Pour all your time, emotion, and energy into that. Don't compete against other people who are doing the same thing or a similar thing. That's not your competition. Your yesterday is. If you will continue to do those things, you'll find yourself moving down the road a whole lot faster. And oh, by the way, you'll still have a target on your back. There will still be lazy people who are jealous of your success because they haven't figured out they're not competing against you. There will still be unscrupulous people who will do all they can to take your success from you so they can claim it as their own, or just keep you from succeeding because they don't want you out of the barrel. They want you in the bottom, living in misery alongside them. None of those should matter to you. You're not competing against them. You shouldn't be focused on them. You should be competing against you from yesterday and focused on being a better you tomorrow. That's it. Don't be a target just because you found success. And don't give up your success because you found a target. I'm J Loren Norris with Leading Leaders Podcast for Tell It Like It Is TV. Have a blessed day.
is a master teacher on storytelling, and I learned so much. I'm really going to have to sit down and go back through everything, and I think I might have to have some more coffees with Loren, but it was totally worth my time, and I really highly recommend it if you're looking to grow your ministry, grow your business, grow your career. Loren will serve you well.